All right, the book of Job, part 2 of our Old Testament survey. Heavenly Father, as we look back at your word, the book of Job, may you give us enlightenment here. You honor sincerity, and we sincerely desire to have you teach us in the book of Job here. In Jesus Christ's name, our Lord and Savior, amen. So, Job chapter 3 was Job commenting on his predicament. And rather than cursing God, rather than charging God foolishly, Job curses his birth date. He says, if only I would have died, childbirth, like a premature, stillborn baby or something like that. If only I'd never been born, or if only I would have died. He has no comfort, he has no peace, he's despairing. All right, now chapter 4, the quote, first friend here. He wants to jabber. So here we go. Then Eliphaz, the Temanite, answered and said, now Eliphaz must be the eldest of those three friends, quote, loosely, friends. You'll see why I call them, quote, friends. Eliphaz is the oldest one, and so he's going to speak first, evidently. Now, read verse 1. Eliphaz says, verse 2, if we essay, chapter 4, verse 2, if we essay to commune with thee, wilt thou be grieved? But who can withhold himself from speaking? Behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened the weak hands. Thy words have upholden him that was falling, and thou hast strengthened the feeble knees. But now it is come upon thee, and thou faintest. It toucheth thee, and thou art troubled. Is not this thy fear, thy confidence, thy hope, and the uprightness of thy ways? So, Eliphaz says here, you know, Job, you had some good works there. You have a good testimony. Those who needed help, you helped. You strengthened the feeble knees. You upheld the man who was falling. You strengthened the weak hands. You instructed many. Oh, but see, now trouble's coming, and you don't practice what you preach. In your own life, you're not practicing what you preach. There's a denunciation. Now, look at verse 7. Here comes an accusation. The darts, the rocks, the swords, the daggers, the spears, whatever you want to call them, these verbal weapons are being thrown now. Abusive language. Verse 7. Eliphaz says, remember, I pray thee, who ever perished being innocent? Or where were the righteous cut off? Even as I have seen, observation, experience here. That's Eliphaz. Observation and experience is going to be his philosophy in life here. His insight depends on experience and observation. Eliphaz has seen that they that plow iniquity, and sow wickedness reap the same. Oh, Job, you're just reaping what you've sown. God is punishing you for being wicked. See? They that plow iniquity and sow wickedness, they reap the same. By the blast of God they perish. God gets after them. And by the breath of his nostrils are they consumed. The roaring of the lion, the voice of the fierce lion, and the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion perisheth for lack of prey. The stout lion's whelps are scattered abroad. Now I think, ooh, here it comes. Now a thing was secretly brought to me, and mine ear received a little thereof, an experience in thoughts from the visions of the night. When deep sleep falleth on men, fear came upon me and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern the form thereof. An image was before mine eyes. There was silence, and I heard a voice saying. So see, he has an experience, some kind of supernatural visitation here, he claims. Some special enlightenment. Shall mortal men be more just than God? Now this is what that spirit was telling Eliphaz. Shall mortal man be more just than God? Shall a man be more pure than his Maker? Behold, he put no trust in his servants, and his angels he charged with folly. How much less in them that dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, which are crushed before the moth. They are destroyed from morning to evening. They perish forever without any regarding it. Doth not their excellency which is in them go away? They die even without wisdom. So man cannot be trusted. God doesn't trust man because God doesn't trust the angels either. He charged them with folly. The angels who are mightier. So Eliphaz says God doesn't trust angels. He certainly doesn't trust sinful man. Shall mortal man be more just than God? They who dwell in houses of clay, foundation is in the dust. Yes, let's see, our bodies are made of dust, just like Genesis said. So, we'll see more of Eliphaz's contention here being drawn out. Watch what he says. He's gonna bring it to a head in chapter 5. Now, call now if there be any that will answer thee, and to which of the saints wilt thou turn? For wrath killeth the foolish man, and envy slayeth the silly one. I have seen, see, seen, I have observed the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. His children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate. Neither is there any to deliver them. Whose harvest the hungry eat up, and taketh it even out of the thorns, and the robber swallows up their substance. Although affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither does trouble spring out of the ground, yet man is born into trouble, as the sparks fly upward. I would seek unto God. So Eliphaz says, yeah, we're born to trouble, Job. Get used to it. As the sparks fly upward. And that's true. Eliphaz says, you know, Job, if I was in your shoes, here's what I would do. I would seek unto God, and unto God would I commit my cause. See, Job is accused, verse 2, the foolish man, the silly one. Back in chapter 4, the wicked. You're wicked, Job. You've sinned. You are reaping what you've sown. See? I have seen, verse 3, observation, experience. That's what Eliphaz is basing his utterances on. And so he tells Job, here's what I would do. I would commit my cause to God. I would seek unto God, which doeth great things, verse 9, and unsearchable, marvelous things without number, who gives rain to the earth, on the earth. He sends water to the fields, to set up on high those that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He takes the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope in the noonday as in the night. But he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty. So the poor hath hope, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth. Behold, Job, see, happy is the man whom God correcteth. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. So, chastening. Eliphaz says, Job, you are being chastened. God is correcting you, and you need to be happy. Cheer up. What wonderful words of solace there. For he maketh sore, and he bindeth up. He woundeth, and his hands make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he will redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. Neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. And at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. Neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation, and shall not sin. Thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great, and thine offspring is the grass of the earth. Thou shalt come to thy grave in a full age, like as a shock of corn cometh in his season. Lo, this, we have searched it, so it is. Hear it, and know that thou it for thy good. And sufferings for your own good, Job. Cheer up. Eliphaz accuses Job of being a sinner. You're reaping what you've sown. Well, what has Job reaped? He's reaped trouble. Now, what has he sown? Back in chapter 1, it says he was perfect and upright, one that feared God and eschewed evil. So Job has been sowing good, and yet he has evil here, trouble. So Eliphaz, his accusation about Job, you're reaping what you've sown, and you're a sinner, and you need to be happy that God is correcting you. While it is true we do reap what we've sown, that isn't applicable to Job. See? Now, Eliphaz, as well as Bildad and Zophar, they don't know what we know from chapter 1 and chapter 2. They didn't see behind the scenes like we do, that Satan requested, can I touch Job? Can I afflict Job? You see, none of them know what preceded all of this, that there was a meeting and Satan desired to attack Job. It wasn't God's idea, it was Satan's. But Eliphaz and Job, as well as Bildad and Zophar, as we'll see, they don't know about Satan and God speaking in chapters 1 and 2. We know it because it's recorded, but they don't. They are clueless as to chapters 1 and 2 about those meetings between Satan and God there, Jehovah God. So now Job responds to Eliphaz. Chapter 6. But Job answered and said, oh, that my grief were throughly weighed, and my calamity laid in the balances together. Just appreciate my hardships here, Eliphaz. For now it would be heavier than the sand of the sea. Therefore my words are swallowed up. For the arrows of the Almighty are within me. Ah, you see, now Eliphaz has influenced Job to accuse God. For the arrows of the Almighty are within me. So, Job didn't sin foolishly with his lips until the first friend, and really all three friends, start sinning with their lips. Bad doctrine. Job is now on thinking he is influenced. I'll get the word out eventually. He is being influenced by bad doctrine. Erroneous thinking. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse. The conversation will deteriorate as we go on through Job. Whereof, verse 4, 6:4, the poison whereof drinketh up my spirit, the terrors of God do set themselves in array against me. Doth the wild ass brave when he hath grass, or loweth the ox over his fodder? Can that which is unsavory be eaten without salt? Or is there any taste in the white of an egg? The things that my soul refuses to touch, or as my sorrowful meat. Oh, that I might have my requests, and that God would grant me the thing that I long for. Well, what is that? Death. See, there's back earlier he wanted to die. Even that it would please God to destroy me, that he would let loose his hand and cut me off. Then should I have yet comfort. Yea, I would harden myself in sorrow. Let him not spare, for I have not concealed the words of the Holy One. What is my strength, that I should hope? And what is mine end, that I should prolong my life? Is my strength the strength of stones? Or is my flesh of brass? Is not my help in me? And is wisdom driven quite from me? To him that is afflicted, pity should be showed from his friend, but he forsaketh the fear of the Almighty. And Job is saying, you're a friend. You're supposed to be seeing me as I'm in affliction and pity me. But see, no pity from Eliphaz, huh? My brethren have dealt deceitfully as a brook, and as the stream of brooks they pass away, which are blackish by reason of the ice, and wherein the snow is hid. Lost my place. Okay. What time they wax warm, they vanish. When it is hot, they are consumed out of the place. Out of their place. The paths of their way are turned aside. They go to nothing and perish. The troops of Tema looked down. The companies of Sheba waited for them. They were confounded because they had hoped. They came thither and were ashamed. For now ye are nothing. Ye see my casting down and are afraid. Did I say, bring unto me, or give a reward for me of your substance? Or deliver me from the enemy's hand, or redeem me from the hand of the mighty? Teach me, and I will hold my tongue, and cause me to understand where I have erred. You accuse me of sinning, well, go ahead and what have I done? How forcible are right words, but what doth your arguing reprove? Well, Eliphaz, you haven't answered the matter. You're not providing insight here. I'm looking for an answer and you didn't give it. Do ye imagine to reprove words in the speeches of one that is desperate, which are as wind? Yea, ye overwhelm the fatherless, and ye dig a pit for your friend. Oof. So the insults are flying. See, Eliphaz says, Job, you're a sinner. And Job says, well, I've got some unkind things to say about you. Ye are nothing. ye dig a pit for your friend. Now therefore be content, look upon me, for it is evident unto you if I lie. Return, I pray you, let it not be iniquity. Yea, return again, my righteousness is in it. Is there iniquity in my tongue? Cannot my taste discern perverse things? So Job says, look, I'm innocent there. I take offense. You're accusing me. What have I done? Show me how I'm guilty, how I deserve such suffering. He holds to his righteousness. My friends should appreciate my suffering, and they don't. No comfort there. Now, chapter 7. Is there not an appointed time to man upon the earth? Are not his days also like the days of an hireling? As a servant earnestly desires the shadow, and as an hireling looketh for the reward of his work, so am I made to possess months of vanity, and wearisome nights are appointed to me. When I lie down, I say, when shall I arise, and the night be gone? And I am full of tossings to and fro unto the dawning of the day. Can't sleep. My flesh is cold with worms and clouds of dust. He's dirty and filthy. My skin is broken and become loathsome. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle. See, sewing and that kind of thing. Shuttling, the weaver weaving on a loom, weaving cloth, and are spent without hope. Oh, remember that my life is wind. Mine eye shall no more see good. The eye of him that hath seen me shall see me no more. Thine eyes are upon me, and I am not. As the cloud is consumed and vanisheth away, so he that goeth down to the grave shall come up no more. He shall return no more to his house, neither shall his place know him any more. Therefore I will not refrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. Am I a sea or a whale, that thou settest a watch over me? When I say, my bed shall comfort me, my couch shall ease my complaint. Then thou scarest me with dreams, and terrifies me through visions. And see, what he's doing is, he wants to know, why, God, have you chosen me for affliction here? Why have you selected me to be punished? See that accusation against God again? You scare me with dreams, you terrify me through visions, so that my soul chooses strangling and death rather than my life. I loathe it. I would not live always. Let me alone, for my days are vanity. What is man, that thou shouldest magnify him, and that thou shouldest set thine heart upon him, and that thou shouldest visit him every morning, and try him every moment? How long wilt thou not depart from me, nor let me alone till I swallow down my spittle? I have sinned. What shall I do unto thee? O thou preserver of men, why hast thou set as a mark against thee, so that I am a burden to myself? Why hast thou set me? Why hast thou... I have sinned. What shall I do unto thee, O thou preserver of men? Why hast thou set me as a mark against thee, so that I am a burden to myself? And why dost thou not pardon my transgression, and take away mine iniquity? For now shall I sleep in the dust, and thou shalt seek me in the morning, but I shall not be. So there's a confession there. And Job says, if I've sinned, I've sinned. But what is it, God? See, he wants to know, why have you selected me? God, he's asking God, and yet there's no answer, huh? God isn't answering. All right? Now look at verse 1 of chapter 8. Now we have a second, quote, friend here. So, Eliphaz, he had said, if you weren't sinful, Job, you wouldn't be suffering. Well, now, Bildad will come along, and watch what he says. Bildad the Shuhite said, how long wilt thou speak these things, and how long shall the words of thy mouth be like a strong wind? Oh, you full of hot air, Job. So, here we go with the insults, more insults. Bildad is going to get his in. Doth God pervert judgment, or doth the Almighty pervert justice? If thy children have sinned against him, and he hath cast them away for their transgression. If thou wouldest seek unto God betimes, and make thy supplication to the Almighty, if thou wert pure and upright, surely now he would awake for thee, and make the habitation of thy righteousness prosperous. So Job, maybe your children did sin, and that's why God killed them. And evidently, you must be a sinner too. That's why God is making you suffer. If you were pure and upright, surely he would awake for thee. Verse 6. God is righteous, Bildad says. Job is unrighteous. And Job needs to seek God. Watch. Verse 7. Though thy beginning was small, yet thy latter end should greatly increase. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to search of their fathers. For we are but of yesterday, and know nothing, because our days upon earth are a shadow. You see here about the fathers. Inquire of the former age, prepare yourself to search of the fathers. Tradition, history, patriarchal wisdom. These proverbs, these axioms, these dictums. So Bildad is just like Eliphaz is experience and observation, human viewpoint. Well, Bildad will be tradition, history. See, he appeals to these fathers. Shall not they teach thee, verse 10, and tell thee and utter words out of their heart? And here come a little more proverbs. See, can the rush grow up without mire? Can the flag grow without water? Whilst it is yet in his greenness and not cut down, it withereth before any other herb. So are the paths of all that forget God. Oh, and the hypocrites' hope shall perish. You know what, Job? You've forgotten God and you're a hypocrite. Whose hope shall be cut off, and whose trust shall be a spider's web. He shall lean on the house, but it shall not stand. He shall hold it fast, but it shall not endure. He is green before the sun, and his branch shooteth forth in his garden. His roots are wrapped about the heap, and seeth the place of stones. If he destroy him from his place, then it shall deny him, saying, I have not seen thee. Behold, this is the joy of his way, and out of the earth shall others grow. Behold, God will not cast away a perfect man, neither will he help the evildoers, till he fill thy mouth with laughing, and thy lips with rejoicing. They that hate thee shall be clothed with shame, and the dwelling place of the wicked shall come to naught. So Job, if you would be repentant, God would remove your problems. God won't cast away a perfect man. He won't help the evildoers. See, well then you Job, must be an evildoer, and you're not a perfect man. Well, didn't Job 1 verse 1 say Job was perfect and upright? Now that's not sinless perfection. That's the issue of spiritual maturity. Okay, that's not sinless, perfect there. So Job, you must be sinning. All these problems. So you need to change your mind, stop your sin, and God will deliver you. So now Job, he agrees with Bildad 1. Then Job answered and said, I know it. It is so of a truth. But how should man be just with God? I know. See, Job says, I know I'm not. Job says, I'm not a hypocrite. I don't know how to be right or justified with God. If he will contend with him, He cannot answer him 1 of 1,000. God is wise in heart and mighty in strength. Who hath hardened himself against him and hath prospered? Well, nobody. See, which removes the mountains, God's power. See, and they know not, which overturneth them in his anger, which shaketh the earth out of her place, and the pillars thereof to tremble, which commands the sun, and it rises not, it seals up, and he seals up the stars, which alone spreads out the heavens, and treads upon the waves of the sea, which maketh Arcturus and Orion and Pleiades and the chambers of the south. See these constellations, creation, Pleiades, the 7 sisters they're called, Arcturus and Orion, these constellations. The names of the constellations, they're very old. We don't know where they came from. Scientists have no idea where those names of the constellations of stars came from, and yet here we have them named here 3,500 years ago, so they're at least around going back to Job's day, those names of the star groupings. But see the issue of creation, the creator, the creator. There's majesty, God's majesty in creation. Job knows he can't challenge God. Lo, verse 11, verse 10, which doeth great things past finding out, yea, and wonderful wonders without number. Lo, he goeth by me, and I see him not. He passeth on also, but I perceive him not. Behold, he taketh away. Who can hinder him? Who will say unto him, what doest thou? If God will not withdraw his anger, the proud helpers do stoop under him. How much less shall I answer him, and choose out my words to reason with him? Whom, though I were righteous, yet would I not answer, but I would make supplication to my judge. Ask for mercy. If I had called, and he had not answered me, yet would I not believe that he had hearkened unto my voice. For he breaketh me with a tempest, and multiplies my wounds without cause. Back to attacking God again now. He will not suffer me to take my breath, but filleth me with bitterness. If I speak of strength, lo, he is strong. And if of judgment, who shall set me a time to plead? If I justify myself, mine own mouth shall condemn me. If I say, I am perfect, it shall also prove me perverse. Though I were perfect, yet would I not know my soul. I would despise my life. This is one thing. Therefore, I said it. He destroyeth the perfect and the wicked. If the scourge slay suddenly, he will laugh at the trial of the innocent. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Now my days are swifter than a post. They flee away, they see no good. They are passed away as the swift ships, as the eagle that hasteth to the prey. Life is quick on earth, see? And Job says, even if I was innocent, Job says, even if I was innocent, God smites the perfect and the wicked alike. Job again moans. See, 27 to 31, Job is moaning. I will forget my complaint. If I say I will forget my complaint, I will leave off my heaviness and comfort myself. I am afraid of all my sorrows. I know that thou wilt not hold me innocent. If I be wicked, why then labor I in vain? If I wash myself with snow water, and make my hands never so clean, yet shalt thou plunge me in the ditch, and mine own clothes shall abhor me. For he is not a man as I am, that I should answer him, and we should come together in judgment. Neither is there any daysman, a mediator, betwixt us, between God and Job, that might lay his hand upon us both. Now, see, in the coming centuries, when Jesus Christ is born, we can see the God-man can grab God by the hand and man by the hand and join us. But see, Job doesn't know anything about that at this time. let him take his rod away from me, and let not his fear terrify me. Then would I speak and not fear him, but it is not so with me. Job wants a mediator, and yet there is no mediator here. So Job continues in the bitterness of his soul. My soul is weary of my life, chapter 10. I will leave my complaint upon myself. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. I will say unto God, do not condemn me. Show me wherefore thou contendest with me. See, he's asking for enlightenment again. God, show me, why is this going on? Do not condemn me. Show me wherefore thou contendest with me. Is it good unto thee that thou shouldest oppress, that thou shouldest despise the work of thine hands, and shine upon the counsel of the wicked? Hast thou eyes of flesh, or seest thou as man seeth? Or thy days as the days of man? Or thy years as man's days? That thou inquirest after mine iniquity, and searchest after my sin? Thou knowest that I am not wicked, and there is none that can deliver out of thine hand. Thine hands have made me and fashioned me together round about, yet thou dost destroy me. See, God, you're getting after me. Charging God foolishly. Remember, I beseech thee, that thou hast made me as the clay, and wilt thou bring me into dust again? Hast thou not poured me out as milk, and curdled me as cheese? Thou hast clothed me with skin and flesh, and hast fenced me with bones and sinews. Clothed me with flesh and skin. That means there's something beyond us besides skin and flesh. The real us is inside. The body is clothing. See, we have a spirit and a soul in the body. There's more to a human than what you see. There's more to me than what you see now. I have a soul and a spirit inside that you can't see. The same with you. But God sees. Thou hast granted me life and favor, and thy visitation hath preserved my spirit. So let me say, see, there is the spirit. See, the invisible part of us. So that means when this thing you can see, when this dies, I'm still alive in a spirit form. There's more to life than the here and now, and this existence is not just tied to this body. There's an internal component to a human, internal makeup, that only God can see. And we can see it through the eyes of faith, but we can't see it with these eyes. That is why it's important not to adopt a materialistic, fleshly, bodily, I'm trying to think of the word, external view of life. There's something internal, there's something eternal. We live forever apart from these bodies, once these bodies go to the ground. God breathed into Adam the breath of life, and he became a living soul, the spirit and the soul. And these things hast thou hid in thine heart. I know that this is with thee. If I sin, then thou markest me, and thou wilt not acquit me from mine iniquity. If I be wicked, woe to me, and if I be righteous, yet will I not lift up my head. I am full of confusion, therefore see thou mine affliction, for it increaseth. Thou huntest me as a fierce lion, and again thou showest thyself marvelous upon me. Thou renewest thy witness against me, and increaseth thy indignation upon me. Changes and war are against me. Wherefore then hast thou brought me forth out of the womb? Oh, that I had given up the ghost, and no eye had seen me. I wish I would have died. I should have been as though I had not been. I should have been carried from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Cease then, and let me alone, that I may take comfort a little, before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death, a land of darkness, as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order, and where the light is as darkness. Oh, that's grim, huh? Job complains, he confesses, he says, have I been preordained to suffering? Well, I wish I would have never been born. Preordained or not, I am suffering. So, Zophar now. Zophar is that third, quote, friend. Zophar the Naamathite, he's going to give his little 2 cents. He's going to make some assumptions here. There's no reasoning like Eliphaz. If you weren't sinning, you wouldn't suffer. That's Eliphaz. We're not going to hear proverbs like from Bildad. Oh, the father said this and that and so on. No, we're going to hear some assumptions. And merit, human merit. So here's Zophar's contribution. Should not the multitude of words be answered? And should a man full of talk be justified? Windbag, Job. Should thy lies, make men hold their peace? And when thou mockest, shall no man make thee ashamed? Job, you're a liar. You're a mocker. You're presumptuous. See, Zophar is aggravated. As we read through these passages in Job, these men are irritated. Job was irritated enough. They come along, and they're going to irritate him, and he irritates them because he answers them, but they don't answer him with substance. See, just accusations is all they... And what Job is doing is, Job maintains his innocence. And all these friends make the accusations that, no, you're not innocent. And we have tradition, we have assumptions, we have goody-goodies involved here, and really no light. There's no spiritual light here. Now, not to say that everything they're saying is true. There are things true. Yes, you do reap what you sow, but that's not true in Job's case. Job is upright. He eschews evil. Chapter 1 and 2. And Bildad. The issue of Bildad is, Job, you must be sinning. That's why you're having the problems. Well, here, Zophar, watch what Zophar says. Verse 4, 11:4. For thou hast said, my doctrine is pure, and I am clean in thine eyes. But oh, that God would speak and open his lips against thee, and that he would show thee the secrets of wisdom, and that they are double to that which is. Know therefore that God exacteth of thee less than thine iniquities deserveth. Job, considering all that you've done, you deserve worse than what you're getting. Oh, well, how comforting is that? Thank you, Zophar. I've lost everything, and I'm now bodily ill. But I can rejoice if I'm reaping less than what I've sown. Job, you deserve more than what you're suffering. Zophar says, canst thou by searching find out God? Canst thou find out the Almighty unto perfection? It is high as heaven. What canst thou do? Deeper than hell, what canst thou know? The measure thereof is longer than the earth and broader than the sea. You can't know what God's doing. Job. If he cut off, or shut up, or gather together, then who can hinder him? For he knoweth vain men. He seeth wickedness also. Will he not then consider it? See, Job, you're a vain man, you're a wicked man. For vain men would be wise, though man be born like a wild ass's coat. If thou prepare thine heart, and stretch out thine hands toward him, if iniquity be found in thine hand, assumption, put it far from thee, and let not wickedness dwell in thy tabernacles. So, if iniquity be found with thee, well, evidently it is. And Job is sinful, and he's getting less than what he deserves. That's what Zophar is claiming here. For then shalt thou lift up thy face, verse 15, without spot, yet thou shalt be steadfast, and shalt not fear, because thou shalt forget thy misery, and remember it as waters that pass away, and thine age shall be clearer than the noonday. Thou shalt shine forth, thou shalt be as the morning, and thou shalt be secure, because there is hope. Yea, thou shalt dig about thee, and thou shalt take thy rest in safety. Also thou shalt lie down, and none shall make thee afraid. Yea, many shall make suit unto thee. But the eyes of the wicked shall fail, and they shall not escape, and their hope shall be as the giving up of the ghost. So that's real quick and simple. Zophar there. Job, you can't know what God's doing. You can't stop God. You can't outsmart him. Zophar defends God here. It sounds good, see, but Zophar didn't really say why, give it a precise reason why Job is going through. Job is sinful and he deserves more. Well, what exactly has Job done? See, the thing about if iniquity be in thine hand. See, Zophar speculating. Job needs to put away sin. Put it far away. 14. Put it out of your tabernacles. And verse 20. If you don't, perhaps you might die, Job. So you need to reform, or you'll die, Job. God will just finish you off. Now, chapter 12, Job answers, no doubt, but ye are the people, and wisdom shall die with you. Know-it-alls. But I have understanding as well as you. I am not inferior to you. Yea, who knoweth not such things as these? I am as one mocked of his neighbor, who calleth on God, and he answers him. The just upright man is laughed to scorn. He that is ready to slip with his feet is as a lamp despised in the thought of him that is at ease. The tabernacles of robbers prosper, and they that provoke God are secure, into whose hand God bringeth abundantly. Well, the wicked, they're prospering, Zophar. Why aren't they getting what they deserve? Verse 7, but ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee, or speak to the earth, and it shall teach thee, and the fishes of the sea shall declare unto thee. Who knoweth not in all these that the hand of the Lord hath wrought this? Job says, even the animals know what all of you are telling me. Sarcasm there. In whose hand is the soul of every living thing, and the breath of all mankind. Doth not the ear try words, and the mouth taste his meat? With the ancient is wisdom, and in length of days understanding. With him is wisdom and strength. He hath counsel and understanding. Behold, he breaks down, and it cannot be built again. He shutteth up a man, and there can be no opening. Behold, he withholdeth the waters, and they dry up. Also he sends them out, and they overturn the earth. See, God's majesty God is in control, and God's majesty in and his control over creation here. So Job understands with him is strength and wisdom, and the deceived and the deceiver are his. He leads counselors away spoiled. He makes the judges fools. He looseth the bond of kings. He girds their loins with a girdle. He leads princes away spoiled, and overthroweth the mighty. He removeth away the speech of the trusty, and taketh away the understanding of the aged. He poureth out contempt upon princes, and weakeneth the strength of the mighty. He discovereth deep things out of darkness. He bringeth out to light the shadow of death. He increaseth the nations and destroyed them. He enlargeth the nations and straightened them again. He taketh away the heart of the chief of the people of the earth, and causeth them to wander in wilderness, where there is no way. They grope in the dark without light, and he maketh them to stagger like a drunken man. See, back to God is judging me again. God is afflicting me for some reason. So chapter 13, Job continues his speech. Lo, mine eye hath seen all this, mine ear hath heard and understood it. What ye know, the same do I know also. See, back to chapter 12, verse 3. Chapter 12, verse 3. I know what you know. I am not inferior unto you. Surely I would speak to the Almighty and desire to reason with God. But ye are forgers of lies. Oh, now Job is going to... Forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. Ooh, more insults. No help. You, friends, are of no help. All you do is lie. Oh, that ye would altogether hold your peace. Just shut up. And it should be your wisdom. Hear now my reasoning, and hearken to the pleadings of my lips. Will ye speak wickedly for God, and talk deceitfully for him? Will ye accept his person? Will ye contend for God? Is it good that he should search you out? Or as one man mocketh another, do ye so mock him? He will surely reprove you, if ye do secretly accept persons. Shall not his excellency make you afraid, and his dread fall upon you? Your remembrances are like unto ashes, your bodies to bodies of clay. Hold your peace, let me alone, that I may speak, and let come on me what will. Stop being rash with your words. Listen to me, Job says. Verse 14, wherefore do I take my flesh in my teeth, and put my life in mine hand? Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him, but I will maintain mine own ways before him. So, no matter what happens, I'll trust God, Job declares. He also shall be my salvation, for an hypocrite shall not come before him. Hear diligently my speech and my declaration with your ears. Behold now, I have ordered my cause. I know that I shall be justified. Who is he that will plead with me? For now, if I hold my tongue, I shall give up the ghost. Only do not two things unto me. You see, he's clinging to his righteousness. And he says, two things. Then will I not hide myself from thee. One, God, he's making a confession here. One, God, withdraw thine hand far from me. And two, and let not thy dread make me afraid. See, God is judging me again. That's what Job... Why is God targeting me? Take your hand of wrath from me, and don't make me afraid. Then call thou, and I will answer, or let me speak, and answer thou me. How many are mine iniquities and sins? Make me to know my transgression and my sin. Wherefore hidest thou thy face, and holdest me for thine enemy? Where is God? See, God isn't answering. Job is saying, speak to me, Lord, and there's nothing. Tell me where I'm wrong, and it's silent. Wilt thou break a leaf driven to and fro, and wilt thou pursue the dry stubble? For thou writest bitter things against me, and makest me to possess the iniquities of my youth. Thou puttest my feet also in the stocks, and lookest narrowly unto all my paths. Thou settest a print upon the heels of my feet, and he as a rotten thing consumeth, and as a garment that is moth-eaten. Why have you struck me, God? Remove your hand of wrath. So Job continues, chapter 14. Man that is born of a woman is a few days, and full of trouble. Quick life. He comes forth like a flower and is cut down. He fleeth also as a shadow and continues not. And dost thou open thine eyes upon such a one, and bringest me into judgment with thee? Give me mercy. Watch. Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds, that he cannot pass. Turn from him, that he may rest, till he shall accomplish, as in hireling, his day. For there is a hope of a tree, if it be cut down, that it will sprout again, and that the tender branch thereof will not cease. Though the root thereof wax old in the earth, and the stock thereof die in the ground, yet through the scent of water it will bud, regrow, and bring forth boughs like a plant. But man dieth and wastes away. Man giveth up the ghost, and where is he? So, see, God lets man live at an appointed time, and then he dies. And man suffers to the grave. See? Now, let me see. Man dieth and wasteth away. Verse 11. As the waters fail from the sea, and the flood decayeth and drieth up, so man lieth down and riseth not. Till the heavens be no more, they shall not awake, nor be raised out of their sleep. So Job says, Oh, that thou wouldst hide me in the grave, that thou wouldst keep me secret, until thy wrath be past, that thou wouldst appoint me a set time, and remember me. If a man die, shall he live again? All the days of my appointed time will I wait, till my change come. Remember me after death, is what he said. Thou shalt call, and I will answer thee. Thou wilt have a desire to the work of thine hands, for now thou numberest my steps. Dost thou not watch over my sin? My transgression is sealed up in a bag, and thou sewest up mine iniquity. Surely the mountain falling cometh to naught, and the rock is removed out of his place. The waters wear the stones. Thou washest away the things which grow out of the dust of the earth. And thou destroyest the hope of men. Thou prevailest forever against him, and he passeth. Thou changest his countenance, and sendest him away. His sons come to honor, and he knoweth it not. And they that are brought low, but he perceiveth it not of them. But his flesh upon him, see, his flesh upon him shall have pain, and his soul within him shall mourn. The soul, see, the him is inside. The real person is inside the flesh, not the flesh. See, but his flesh upon him. The physical body is like clothing. It's the clothing for the soul and the spirit. And the soul and the spirit move around in the form of the flesh and blood body. It's a vehicle. Alright, so it says here, Job says, please remember me after death. See? Suffering, please remember me after death, God. Well, isn't that sad? Okay, that's the first round of speeches now over. We've had Job jabber. Let's see, I'll go back. We had Job talk. Back to chapter 3. So Job spoke one time, chapter 3. Then chapters 4 and 5, Eliphaz spoke one time. Chapter 6, Job spoke the second time. Chapter 7, Job speaking. Chapter 8, Bildad speaks the first time. Chapter 9, Job speaks the third time. And chapter 10, chapter 11, Zophar speaks the first time. And then chapters 12, 13, and 14, Job spoke the fourth time. So there's a whole lot of talking and yet there's not a lot of progression in the dialogue. It's just the same old stuff repeated and recycled over and over again. Just with each time, every man is fiercer, more aggravated, bothered, annoyed, whatever you want to call it, calling more names, and they're not getting anywhere. It's going to get harsher. Eliphaz says, if you weren't sinning, Job, there would be no suffering. And Bildad, well, you must be sinning, Job, because look at what you're suffering. And finally, Zophar. Zophar says, Job, you are sinful, and that's why you're suffering, but you're suffering less than what you deserve. Eliphaz, see, observation, philosophy, experience. Then we read about Bildad, tradition, history. He quotes those proverbs, those adages. And then finally, Zophar, human merit and morality and assumptions. So that is the first round of dialogue. So chapter 14, that's the end of the first round of discussion, dialogue, speeches. Okay, now things will get even more intense. The words will get more extreme, and the accusations and so on, name calling. Father God, thank you for your word. As we close our second hour of the book of Job, as we continue, may you enlighten us in Christ's name. Amen. And we'll stop there.